Hi everyone, I'm Sadie Carr, realtor with Keller Williams Bay Area Estates, and I am excited to be here with Alden with Crossings Coffee Roasters today. They're a wholesale coffee company, and we're going to get to know a little bit about them. So Alden, thank you for being with me. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into coffee?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, first of all. So, a little bit about me. It's kind of like a long-winded journey. I think looking back, I could never have painted myself being here. Things kind of happen the way life happens to them. But to kind of try to summarize in a nutshell, in my past life, I spent about a decade in research and medicine. I'd been trying to position myself ever since I was a kid into being like a doctor. That was what I was destined to be. That's what I was supposed to be. And there was a lot of pressure from, both internally and from family that, to go off and do great things in the medical community. And along the way, there was a lot that I fell in love with. And I still was not feeling super satisfied with the direction my life was looking to go. But I think looking back, there were a few key moments that I think helped transform me into being the person I am. Namely, back when I was in college, and I went to college right here in San Diego at UCSD, and my dad would pick me up every Sunday, and we would join my uncle and grandfather for a coffee date. And I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, I think they were probably the most impactful and profound weekends of my life. And it was like the first real taste of like community that I had ever really felt. And we weren't going anywhere fancy. It was like coffee at like Starbucks or Panera Bread, just anywhere we could find to sit and hang out, but
Yeah.
just sit and hang out and talk and engage and learn about each other's days and weeks and what was challenging or what were some victories and things that were feeling really good. And I remember leaving and being like, this was amazing. And I looked forward to them.
Wow.
And now looking back, I realized that was like the budding start of what community meant to me and how I want to show up and be able to build community spaces for other people. But I didn't really know like the vehicle that would do that for me. And it wasn't until I had literally just taken my MCATs. I was interviewing to med schools. I was living in Orange County at the time, and had the best way I can describe it was like a waking up epiphany that like, no, it's not medicine. I think it's coffee. I'd been chatting with someone who became a friend, and he kind of taken me under his wing and was showing me how he had opened up his first coffee shop and what he was looking for and the ethos behind his brand. And I think I recognized that coffee not only created that community space or had the opportunity to create community spaces, but also there's a rabbit hole, and you can go as deep as you want with bringing an analytical mindset into understanding and trying to create a better cup. So I think it both,
Sure.
satisfied my intellectual brain and also like, the heart spacing, being able to create things that other people could benefit from and still be a positive impact to my community.
Yeah, well,
So
I love that because most of the time when you hear about coffee, people who started in coffee, I feel like it's really just been about, the taste and everything behind the coffee. But I like your take on it. It's more about the community and everything surrounding the coffee that brought you into it.
yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool. I like that.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
So how long have you been doing this? When that epiphany happen?
So that epiphany happened right around 2014, 2015.
Okay.
And I launched Crossings Coffee Roasters in 2016.
Okay.
2016, almost 2017. It was a bit of like a rolling start. But I started out as a wholesale roasting business, distributing coffee to shops, and you could buy directly off the website. And so that was really cool, but it really wasn't quite scratching that itch. And I actually ended up partnering with Iron Smith and buying out one of his partners to being co-owner with him. And we ran together for a couple of years, and we opened up a couple of shops. We got hired from a few different companies to help them build, develop, manage, and improve upon their existing coffee concepts or structures. And then, Matt and I ended up, going our separate ways. But I left that experience and saw that, okay, cool. I definitely want to open up my own coffee brands or continue developing that concept. And there seems to be a lot of like uncertainty in a lot of people. People like only know what they know, and there wasn't a lot of information on how do you improve upon a coffee bar, or how do you build a coffee shop? What are the legal requirements? What are
Yeah,
ADA compliances, building codes? Like there's all this information, and it's really hard to
so
pull it all
much.
together when opening up your own.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a resource people could go to find all of that. And along the way, I had accumulated all that knowledge. And so I kind of pivoted myself into almost opening up like a consulting branch where I had been hired by a few companies to help them, sit down in a cafe and watch their bar flow and recognize where they can improve upon their bar flow. Or, hey, we should move this equipment over here and this over here, and this will, speed up these processes, or just like little things you can do to
Yeah.
accumulate differences that make a really impactful change on their setup. And this culminated into a really awesome experience 2 years ago where I was approached by a company called Salon World Suites.
Okay.
They're a new company based out of Solana Beach, but they were looking for someone to open up a coffee shop inside of their boutique salon suites. And so they asked if I'd be interested in opening up a Crossings cafe inside. And after hearing their pitch and looking at what they were working with, I kind of thought about it and said, I don't know if I'm necessarily a good fit or my company's a good fit for what you're looking for, but hire me and I'll build you your own brand from the ground up. We talked about it back and forth and eventually came up with a design that felt good for everyone, high-fived and started out. And we built two cafes together, one in Solana Beach, one in Encinitas, and pretty much like a binder, a template that allowed for them to copy paste into future locations.
Awesome.
I actually just transitioned out of that role two and a half weeks ago.
Okay.
Um, and now am full steam ahead on, my brand, my concept, and what I'm looking to evolve Crossings as in the next few years.
So you are definitely the expert in all things coffee related, shop, coffee shop related and community too. That's great. So that being said, what is the next 2 years? What are the goals for, 2023?
Oh my gosh, they are huge, and I'm so excited. So, most immediately, this has kind of been like a pet project that's finally starting to gain some traction. But in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be launching a line of canned cold brew beverages.
Oh,
The intention is not to really go full swing into the ready to drink or canned beverage space, but really create it as an additional offering to like the regional community in San Diego. I think there's a lot of amazing coffee and a lot of really talented baristas and roasters and shops out there. And still, I'm often left with like this, like something is missing factor. Part of my brand is, demystifying the black boxes around what we do and do not understand yet about coffee. And the three pillars that I built my business on are kindness, community, and the pursuit of excellence. And I think that is a two-way street. Not only is it how can I educate the consumers better on like what coffee is and what it isn't, and leave consumers such as yourself and everyone else more empowered to make informed decisions about how they want to consume their beverage, whether it's just a convenience or something more ritualistic. But also, I think increasing the convenience without quality compromise on drinks that people can access wherever they are. So like canned beverages, they're easy. Everyone can throw them in their fridge, take them camping, take them on the road. And if we can deliver that in an experience that still maintains a high bar for quality and, lets people easily access information behind like, how do we brew it? Why did we brew it that way? What is a refractometer? How is it used? Like things that may not be really important to the average passerby, but the information is there if they want to learn about it. And so every step that we do is incrementally building towards like that, like free way of information where people can be, again, better informed with their decisions. So the
I
can cold brew
know.
is the first step. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna say, I know my husband would be super into learning about all of that, so it would be a great resource. And then personally, I was like, oh, I wish I could have had that canned coffee to take with me this morning too. So
Oh, so soon. It's coming
I
soon.
feel all of the aspects of it.
Yeah. So that's the first part. And the second part is actually going to be opening and launching a brick and mortar for Crossings Coffee
Okay.
in this next year. We've got investors on the standby. We've got the pitch deck ready. It's more about scouting for that right location to deliver the experience that we want to create.
Nice. So you're working on identifying where it's gonna be right now?
Yep. Yep. I would
Awesome.
love it to see it in like Carlsbad somewhere. It might end up somewhere closer to the coast, but we'll definitely keep you updated.
Yes. Great. Well, we are excited. Well, in the meantime, while you're trying to figure out where that might be, how can we taste your coffee in the meantime?
It's a great question. You can taste the coffee a few different places right now. Cafe La Terre is one of my accounts. They're a shop. That's the shop that I helped develop and operate. There's one in Solana Beach and one in Encinitas. There's also 6+1. They're a newcomer into town. My buddy James, he runs it. It's a coffee van. He usually posts up around Torrey Pines Beach, and you'll also find him up in Torrey Pines, Sereno Valley area,
Nice.
hitting up kind of those biotech hubs. And if you're looking to bring a bag home, you can always order directly from my website, crossings.coffee or crossingscoffee.com. And it's just shipped straight to your door. And I'm always open and love talking with people. If you buy a bag and you're like, hey, it's not tasting quite right on my machine, how do I dial it in? Like, cool, let's hop on the phone and figure it out together.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like all the knowledge that somebody could ask for. And I am personally very excited to taste your coffee when I get the chance.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess lastly, is there anything else that you want people to know about Crossings and anything else you want to share?
I am so excited to see what we can build together. I want to use the word glutton for collaborations, but I think that's kind of why community is such a big part of like my business structure and part of my own identity as well, is like, how can we come together and create something special that maybe otherwise you wouldn't be able to think of? I think just like any relationship in our lives, like there's so much synergy available. And, you know, just yesterday I had a meeting with a couple owners of a bakery, and we're discussing how we might be able to collaborate and create like curated menus where it's like a pastry with a beverage pairing, and how we might be able to kind of like riff off of one another. And the opportunities and possibilities are absolutely endless.
Yeah.
So if you have a budding idea, if you have a curiosity, or anyone here is looking to open up a shop or wants to improve upon their own coffee game, like hit me up. I'm not a limited resource, and I am just grateful every day to be able to wake up and do this and find new ways that we can collaborate and create beautiful things together.
That sounds wonderful. So I'm just personally curious, what is the vibe of your brick and mortar store going to be?
So it's very much like a SoCal living kind of vibe. I'm on top of, you know, many other things, a bit of a gearhead. So, you know, kind of like bringing in that old like automotive moto cafe vibe, you know, the beach, the sand, the water, those are all also huge parts of my life. And so it's like when you think San Diego living, you know, kind of close your eyes. That's what I really hope to bring home into this shop.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see what you can create.
Likewise. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on Park Bench. And remember, if you need help with buying, selling, or investing in real estate, don't hesitate to give me a call. And if you're a business like Alden, you know, you want to be involved in the community, please reach out and we can all connect. So look forward to talking with you soon.
Thanks, Sadie.
All right. Thank you.